We don't drink water here. What's wrong with you?
It's bourbon.
It's bourbon country. Hi y'all, today I'm at a place that I have wanted to come vlog for a long time and just haven't done it. I am at the Whitehall Mansion in Madison County between Richmond and Lexington. Now we can't video inside, but we're allowed to take pictures, so I'm gonna take a bunch of pictures to show you all. This is the mansion of Cassius Clay, not Muhammad Ali. This is the man Muhammad Ali was named after. His uncle was Henry Clay, who was a very famous statesman here in Kentucky. Cassius Clay was very much abolitionist, anti-slavery. And this house is also kind of where Berea got its start, because Cassius Clay gave the land to John G. Fee to build Berea. Now there's a lot of history in this house, and what I'm giving now is a very, very short, condensed version of things that happened here. We're going to start our story with General Green Clay, who was the father of Cassius Clay and a cousin to Henry Clay. After the Revolutionary War, Green Clay came to Kentucky when the westward expansion first began. He was a surveyor. Back then, surveyors were paid with the percentage of the land they surveyed. This led to Green Clay becoming one of, if not the wealthiest man in Kentucky at the time. Now, because of the surveying, he owned a large portion of Kentucky, but he also owned distilleries, many slaves, a tavern, and ferries on the Kentucky River. If you've ever traveled I-75 through here and you've seen the bridge and the exit called Clay's Ferry, now you know why. Green Clay built the original house on this property, and it was called Claremont. It was built in 1798 and 1799. It only had 7 rooms total, but it was still considered to be a marvel, considering it was well appointed and it was a brick home in the middle of the Kentucky frontier. Green Clay died in 1828 at the age of 73, and he's buried in the Richmond Cemetery. Now, one of his sons, Cassius Marcellus Clay, is the one who most people associate with Whitehall. He was born in the Claremont house in 1810. He went to Transylvania University in Lexington, which was the first college west of the mountains, and later he graduated from Yale in 1832. After he lived in Lexington for a little bit, where he ran an anti-slavery newspaper, he married Mary Jane Warfield, who was from a very prominent family in Lexington. Not long after they were married, they went to live at the Claremont house. Cassius Clay's mom had since remarried and moved to Frankfort, which is the state capital. Now, Cassius was the opposite of the rest of his family because he was a diehard abolitionist. He did inherit his father's slaves, but he freed them in 1844. Cassius became a prominent politician in Kentucky and was eventually appointed ambassador to Russia by Abraham Lincoln in 1861. Now, Mary Jane went with him to Russia at first, but she didn't much like it or something, because she came home and she began a massive remodeling job and turned the 2-story, 7-room Claremont house into the 3-story, 44-room Whitehall mansion that was complete with central heating in many rooms and running water. This is the main entry hall of the house. This is where you're at when you first come in the front door. I've heard this room referred to as the parlor, and I've heard it referred to as the ballroom, but this is probably the fanciest room in the house. And a fun fact, that piano has never left the house over the years, even after the house had been abandoned for so long. This is the fireplace in the parlor or ballroom. These next two are examples of the frieze work or molding or whatever you call it that's in the room. It's really, really detailed. This room is in the older part of the house, and I've also heard it referred to as a parlor or a dining room. I think this was the main sitting room or whatever when Claremont was the original house. This room is the study or the library, and this was pretty much Cassius Clay's office. That's his desk there on the right. So this room was kind of like a pantry or a prep room for the food. It's the last place the food was before it was taken out to whoever was going to eat it. Not one of my pictures of the main staircase came out, but this picture is looking up from the first floor to the second floor through the main staircase. This is one of the bedrooms, and yes, that is a chamber pot down there at the foot of the bed. If you don't know what that was used for, you can look it up. I don't know that I ever could have used one. This is the children's room, and of course, in any historical home, there's going to be creepy dolls. This room is the nursery. It was for the babies, the little kids, and it's right off of the children's room. This is another bedroom. This one's in the old original part of the house. This is a horsehair couch that's sitting on the second floor landing. This is the second floor landing. You see off into one of the bedrooms there on the right. And in 1989, there was a short-lived sitcom called Sister Kate about a nun that ran an orphanage in Chicago. Whitehall served as the stand-in set for the orphanage, and you saw it in the ending credits.
So that's it from Whitehall State Historic House, north of Richmond, Kentucky. I think everybody really liked it. It's hard not to like it. It's a very interesting tour. Wish I could have videoed, but I did get to take some pictures. I'll get to show you and all that kinds of good stuff. We had a big time in there. Had a couple of experiences that were a little spooky. I won't get into that. It's the first time I've been in there and felt something spooky, to be honest with you. As always, thank y'all for hanging out with us. Like and subscribe if you want to, and I'll talk to you again soon.